Hi, this is Dr. Lonnie Smith, and you're about to hear some incredible music. by a very dear friend of mine, Mr. Robbie Robinson, great conductor, arranger, and musician. Stick around.
Joey DeFrancesco here. Just want to say a few words about my friend, Robbie Robinson. Wonderful person, most of all. Great musician, musical director for many years with my other friend, Frankie Valli. I can't say enough good things about this guy. You're there today with him and you're hanging out, and you're going to find out for yourself.
And now a man who has learned after all these years that big girls do cry, Robbie Robinson.
Hi, I'm Robbie Robinson. I play Hammond, and you should too. Hello, everybody out there in Jammin' Java land. Welcome to our September 22nd rendition of Jammin' Java. And today, if I'm correct, is the first day of fall, the first day of autumn. So the leaves should be falling, and it's going to be getting cooler and all that kind of stuff. And a playoff baseball is just around the corner. We're going to talk about. I don't know if we'll get into baseball too much, but there's been a lot of goings on, especially the amazing Clayton Kershaw. I have a song that is a Hammond organ song called How Cool is Number 22. I'm going to have to break that out maybe next week. But tonight is going to be a great night. I'm really looking forward to hanging out with my friend, Mr. Mark VAIL, who is one of the definitive authors, one of the experts on all things Hammond organ, and it's going to be so cool. As a matter of fact, this is his book, one of his books, I should say. And I have owned this book since, I don't know, since it first came out back in the 90s, I believe. And so it's going to be really exciting to have him. There was so much to talk about last week because there's so much to talk about Hammond. I figure we're going to have to do a part 2 because then it was great to have Scott May on the show last week, who is the artist liaison and the chief demonstrator for Hammond Organ USA and all that kind of good stuff. But let's see who is in the house tonight. Here, let's go over here. And Bob Sneed from Litchfield. I have my Litchfield Museum and Route 66 Welcome Center shirt on display tonight. Let's see who else we've got here. We've got George, Music for All Seasons. Getting ready for another Jammin' Java. Our youngest member, the original Alex, is in the house. Senior B, yes, the first day of autumn. Hey, Robbie and Jammers. And Jennifer Green, hello from Michigan. Pete Lausches, a Hammond organ brother from St. Louis, originally from Mount Olive, Illinois. Barry McCann, my friend from Pittsburgh. And Pete says B3 is king, and I agree with you. There's nothing like a Hammond B3. I'm hopefully going to tinkle the B3 over here. As a matter of fact, we've got the B3 right there, ready to rock and roll. And tonight you can see the Leslie speaker. Last week we didn't have the Leslie speaker up and running. Hello, KP Lynn. Mark's books are, yes, Mark has some great definitive books on. Mark was, we'll get into Mark's stuff in a little bit, but let's bring on the illustrious author, Mr. Reverend, the Right Reverend, Pastor Chuck, who always leads us in prayer. He is the chaplain of Jammin' Java, and couple weeks ago, he released his book, but we'll get into that as well. So first, we're going to bring Pastor Chuck to lead us in prayer. So take it away, Pastor.
Thank you, Robbie. Good evening, Jammers. Hope you've had a really great day. I'd like to talk a little bit about yesterday's gospel lesson, Luke chapter 16, verses 1 through 9. It's often one of the most difficult parables of Jesus to interpret. It's often called the parable of the dishonest manager, but I think there's more to it than that. Let me summarize it for you. This man who is a manager of a rich man's property is squandering it and squandering the resources and mismanaging the property. And so he's called in. He told, turn in your books, you're done, you're fired. And so he takes stock of the situation, decides that what he's going to do is try and make some room for himself in other people's homes, and their positions. And so he goes to the various debtors or calls them in, and whatever debt they owe, he slashes. One owes 100 measures of wheat, he slashes it to 80. One owes 100 measures of oil, he slashes that to 50. The manager then, or the owner rather, the wealthy master then, who hears about this, calls the manager in and commends him for his shrewdness. Well, all of this is completely different to our way of thinking, and we don't understand it. And particularly when Jesus concludes, I tell you, make friends for yourselves by means of unrighteous wealth, so that when it fails, they may receive you into the eternal dwellings. So I said, we don't understand this parable very much. It's been called the parable of the dishonest manager. It really could be called the parable of the merciful master. There is no question that this man is guilty of mismanaging the resources that he had been entrusted. But when it comes to the manager, dismissal is not the only option the man had. He could have thrown this manager into debtor's prison. And then the other thing that he could have done was to have him hauled right out to the courtyard right there, had him beheaded, and that was the end. So you see that by dismissing him, he's actually very, very merciful to the man. You know, it's kind of like forgiving somebody when they've done something terribly wrong to you. Right? The world doesn't understand that kind of mercy and forgiveness. Sometimes we as Christians, I think, fail to understand it as well. In the eyes of this world, a debt is a debt, and every debt has to be paid. And we don't understand the attitude of the master either when he commends the dishonest manager for his cleverness. Because what we don't understand is that the dishonest manager is actually banking on the mercy of the master. He's already experienced it once with a dismissal. And so when he reduces the various amounts of debt owed to the master, what he's doing with these debtors is not only gaining favor in their eyes, but he's also gaining favor for the master. Because what he's saying is, the master's telling me to do this. He does it in the name of the master. So there are a couple of things we need to know as we look at this parable. First of all, Jesus has been followed by large crowds, and within those crowds are various groups of people. One of them is the scribes and Pharisees, the religious people, leaders of the day. And then there's what we might call the religious and social losers of the day, often identified as tax collectors and sinners. And when the scribes and the Pharisees looked at these losers, these spiritual losers, all they saw were people that were filled with debt. They could never get right before God, and they just kind of dismissed them. What they didn't understand is that the scribes and the Pharisees, were really in the very same boat as these people. Because there is nothing you and I can do, or any person can do, to satisfy the debt of sin that we have before God. It is so great, none of us can satisfy it. And that, I think, is the point, one of the major points of the parable. None of us stands before God as a person with no sin. Scripture says, you shall be holy even as I, the Lord your God, am holy. And we fail miserable. But you and I, miserably, I should say, but you and I belong to a master who is loving and kind and filled with mercy. In your baptism, your sins were nailed to the cross with Jesus. And when he died, they were paid in full. And when he was buried, you were buried with him. When he died, you died with him. When he rose, you rose with him. And you rose without those debts. They're canceled. They've been paid in full. So as we think about our lives and our relationship to God tonight, let me ask you, what burdens are you carrying? Maybe a broken relationship. Maybe some kind of financial uncertainty, or, there's a whole lot of uncertainty going on in our society and our world right now. And we may be wondering just what's going to happen with all the stuff that's happening in our country. Where is it leading us? Or maybe there's a particular sin that you have committed, and that's causing you not only sorrow and heartache, but guilt and doubt as well. St. Paul writes in Philippians chapter 4, verse 19, "My God will supply every need according to his riches in glory in Christ Jesus." Whatever it is that's bothering you, whatever it is that's troubling you, you have a God of mercy and a God of compassion, a God who is full of forgiveness and has already supplied you with his forgiveness and grace for everything and every problem that you have. Let's pray together. Father, help us as your children not only to receive your mercy and forgiveness, but to share it with those around us every day of our lives. Father, help us to live in love and to love one another as you have loved us. We ask it in Jesus' name. Amen. Okay, Robbie, so back to you. Have a great evening, everyone, and God bless.
Thank you, Pastor Chuck. How about that? Thank you, Pastor Chuck. I always lead off with a Christian song, since I have so many in our repertoire and so many on Robbie's Records roster. And this is a song I thought is Hammond. I did it all just Hammond organ and Hammond vocalist. That would be, of course, Andrea Hammond. This is Hammond and Hammond. And this is a song that we wrote together. And the song is called Give It Some Thought. Now listen to the words. Give it.
Son of God, Son of Man. Who do you think I am? A liar, lunatic, or the Lord? I calm the raging sea with one command. Turn water into wine, healed the blind with my hand. I took up my cross so you understand. Now's the time to believe. Give it some thought. You have to know that you know. Give it some thought and let the Spirit show. Some say this and some say that the world will pass away. So what do you say? Give it some thought.
All right. What do you say? Give it some thought. Indeed. That is a song that I wrote with Andrea Hammond. Of course, Hammond and Hammond right there. How do you like that? But, it's inspired by when Jesus asked the disciples, "Who do they say I am?" And then he asked John, I mean, no, he asked Peter, "Who do you say I am?" And he said, "You are the Christ, the Son of the living God." Indeed, he got it right. So that is, and that's on Robbie's Records. And let's, a lot of things going on in Robbie's Records. But before we do that, let's go back to Pastor Chuck a minute. As I mentioned before, Pastor Chuck has a book out that is just going wild. It's going bizarre. It's just shooting off the charts on Amazon and all kinds of things. Let me see if I've got some of the. Well, there is a book, Jam and Java for the Soul, and it's basically his devotions. And he was number one on. It was just written, and you can see on the back, Vinnie Martell from Vanilla Fudge wrote one of the blurbs on the back, and so did Andrea Hammond. And this was last week, number 5 on bestsellers in Christian Values and Virtues. And here, this is number 3 bestsellers in Christian Forgiveness, and then number 1. Amazon hot new releases. I mean, congratulations, Pastor Chuck. And I encourage you, go out there on Amazon or it's on Barnes and Nobles. And I think all the other ones are BAM and all those things. Congratulations to Pastor Chuck. His book is like, look at this. Jam and Java for the Soul, written by Pastor Chuck, as seen weekly on Jam and Java with Robbie Robinson, music director for Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons. Let's go to, I want to promote some of the Robbie's Records things that we've got going on now. And one of the things that I really, really need to push, to promote, and to tell you about, I guess is a better word, is I'm trying to get the right button here. Here we go, down here. It's Robbie's Records things. And that is the Robbie's Records playlist. And you can see that it's called Mighty Hammond-Masters, a legacy of jazz, rock, and soul. And I'm going to play you the 1-minute promo video of it. Check it out. All right. So, I guess I was talking on the phone here. Okie dokie. Let's see here. Let's go to the picks for this. Here are the songs. I've got, I don't know how many songs. I forget. I think there's about 60 songs. All of them are Hammond-centric. Of course, I peppered it with all Robbie's Records promo songs, but you can see Green Onions is in there, What Me Worry, Give Me Some Lovin', Organ Grinder Swing, Tell It to the Rain, Will to Win, Good Lovin', Shotgun. Here's some more. So if you like Hammond organ, I encourage you to subscribe to that playlist. Mighty Hammond Masters on Spotify. and it's really kind of cool stuff. All right, as I'm trying to go into the green room and see what's going on with our buddy Mark VAIL, I'm going to play a video for you, and I think what I'll play you is earlier this year, my buddy Gary Swan, and I had a Hammond to hang, and he invited me, and he invited Brian Charette, who's one of the great organists in this country, number 2, I think, in the jazz charts, which is really super cool. And so this is a song this is me playing at his event. Check this out.
The artist we're going to play is going to play for you first. He has an incredible career. His name is Robbie Robinson. He's the music director for Frankie Valli for 41 years.
All right, so that's what you do when you have a Hammond hang and you play with a drummer that you've never played with before, and you have no rehearsal, and you play something complicated as that song, which is a song called Soli Deo Gloria, and that is my tribute to Johann Sebastian Bach. And I was blessed at my birthday last month, and my wife got me an incredible gift, and this is it. A Johann Sebastian Bach statue, or whatever you want to call it, bust, I guess. You can see, let me go back over here a second. If you can see, well, there's Johann. Get out of the way there. You can see over here on this side, I've had that Beethoven for 50 years. And I said, this is the thing that I would love to have, a matching one. And so she found it, and you can see Johann Sebastian Bach is over there. And and I'm such a fan of Bach. He was a Lutheran organist, just like me. But it is time now. I am so blessed. We are so blessed, and it's going to be super duper cool to have one of the leading journalists on keyboards and Hammonds and everything. And there's a surprise that we're going to talk about in a little bit. But his name is Mr. Mark VAIL, and I invite you all to put your virtual hands together and give a nice virtual applause to Mr. Mark VAIL. Come on in, brother.
Hey.
Mark VAIL.
Hi. There we are. Hi. I wore a special shirt for you.
Oh, hold it. Let me give. I love it. Well, look what I'm wearing.
Okay. Wait, I can't see you.
Litchfield. You can't. Oh, here. Let me go back over here.
Okay. Yeah.
Litchfield Museum and Route 66 Welcome Center.
Great. Nice shirts. Well done.
So I've got to tell the audience. So I've been reading your writings since forever, because you were one of the leading writers for Keyboard Magazine, and I'm sure I had every issue. And of course, you wrote the definitive book on Hammond organ, which is this one by Mark VAIL. So, and then I saw on Facebook, because I don't think we had ever met, maybe once at the Hammond booth or something. And and then I saw that you said something about Hillsboro. You are from Hillsboro, Illinois. I'm from Litchfield, Illinois, 9 miles away from each other. The musical mecca of Illinois.
I missed you. I would have loved to see you then. I love your playing, man. It's so good. I have the second edition here to show.
Oh, I love it. Well, as a matter of fact, I have a graphic of that. Let's go over here. Check this out. Okay, Mark VAIL, author, music journalist, performer, senior associate editor for Keyboard Magazine, the author of The Hammond Organ, Beauty and the Bee. And here is, here we go.
Yeah.
There's the second edition.
A couple things, a couple stories about that, if I may.
Yes, please.
We had about, we were looking for a new cover to replace that original one.
And here, by the way, here for the audience, this is the original one.
Yeah. So Jimmy Smith is on both covers, and
as he should be.
One, yes, he should. Yep. This is the one that it showed up in the San Jose Mercury News because he was coming to town.
Oh,
and, wow. I missed him then. Unfortunately, I never got to meet him, but yeah, he's the best.
Well, let's talk about Jimmy Smith. Let's talk about Jimmy Smith. I mentioned the other day, because last week we had part one of this Hammond series, and Scott May was on with us, and he said to tell you hi, by the way.
Wonderful, Scott. I love the guy. Great friend. Great player like you. And so we talked about Jimmy Smith, and we talked about the Hammond Hall of Fame. Here, I'm trying to grab the pictures of the Hammond Hall of Fame, which I have here somewhere handy. Maybe not as handy as I thought. But tell the audience about what Jimmy Smith meant to Hammond organ. Well, the other thing I was going to say, that cover appeared on an MTV show called Taking the Stage in 2009.
Wow.
They asked for my permission to run that photo on the show. So there were it was a high school for creative and performing arts. So they had dancers, they had artists, and they had musical instruments. They didn't have a Hammond B3 on the show, but they had that picture of Jimmy and that book cover on the board all by itself. It was.
So you made MTV, really, brother. I love
MTV, yeah.
no longer available unless you pay for it to see. But anyway, that was fun. But Jimmy, I mean, the Hammond organ was made for the church, and
1934, is that right? The Hammond, is that when Lawrence Hammond?
I was hoping you weren't going to test me.
Well, here, look, I've got that right there, the Hammond story.
Yeah, Lawrence Hammond. Number one, he was making it for the church, and so when jazz musicians started playing it, and it became popular in that, he wasn't really happy about that. He also was very he didn't like that Don Leslie made a speaker that made his organ sound better than the speakers that Hammond Organ Company could make, and so there was quite a fight, but not from Don's end. He tried to sell the technology to the Hammond Organ Company, but they turned him down. Don Leslie, I got to know him. He lived to 92 or 93, but I got to visit him at his house several times.
Awesome. He had a spectacular house. Why don't you mention that to the tell the audience about that?
He built a house in Pasadena around a pipe organ. So there was a room full of pipes and also digital sound generators that he mixed electronics and acoustics, which I really liked. But one wall was had the louvers that would open and close to control the volume.
Wow. How
and
cool.
That house burned down in the fire.
Tragic.
Don wasn't alive, but shout out to his son, Jim Leslie. I hope he's doing okay. But it was sad. But I tell you, I found out about Contemporary Keyboard Magazine in 1975, and it came from the Bay Area, which my family had visited, and I love the Bay Area, and that's where Keyboard Magazine came from. So I managed to move there. I moved to the Bay Area in 1977.
From Hillsboro, Illinois.
Actually, from Miami, Florida.
Oh, that's right. I remember you told me that.
Drove cross country, but I love the Bay Area. We live near the Bay Area still, but I owe my career to Dominic Milano for hiring me to write for Keyboard Magazine. And also in the late 80s, Dominic realized after a decade of digital synthesizers being so popular, the analog stuff came back strong, and Dominic knew that was going to happen. He got Bob Moog, the great synth pioneer, who wrote a lot of things for keyboard. Bob Moog.
Matter of fact, I saw a great picture of you. Let me interrupt you just a sec. And let me get the picture up here.
Oh,
there's you and Bob Moog.
Bob Moog. I'm so honored to know him. He was such a wonderful person. It just was taken too quickly in 2005.
By the way, and you can see behind my head
here.
Mini
Moog. Yes. Yeah. Another reason to love you.
Vintage Mini Moog.
Yeah. But
I bought that in 1971 from Bob Heil at EO Music Shop in Marissa, Illinois.
Oh, yay. Bought local. That's good.
Yeah. And I remember going up to, I think it was Rochester, and to Moog Music back in those days in the early 70s when he was there. So I had a chance to meet Bob Moog a few times. He is, he changed the world, didn't he?
Yeah. Yeah. With Wendy Carlos's Switched on Bach album being so popular and making the music with the instrument that Bob Moog created, it just changed the direction, made electronic music reach more ears.
And there's one of your books, Vintage Synthesizers.
Yeah, that's the second edition of Vintage Synthesizers. Bob Moog wrote 4 columns for Dominic, and then he said, I want to look to the future. Dominic gave me that column, and it allowed me to write about synthesizers that are old, about Hammond organs, Leslie speakers. The thing about, I was thinking, in high school, I listened to Deep Purple and Santana and Uriah Heep and Chicago, and all those bands had Hammond organ, had some great players, John Lord,
Yes.
Greg Raleigh. And so I realized Keith Emerson also, got to know Keith a little bit, ELP, Emerson, Lake and Palmer. Yes, they all had Hammond organ. And I never had one of those myself, but I always loved the sound, and I was in a position to be able to write about it. So it worked out for me. And so I'm very fortunate, just really fortunate to be who I am.
You know what I found? Now, I was playing the Hammond. My setup in the 70s was I had Hammond. I have a Hammond C3 that I bought in 1968, used from Bob Heil, who's I bought that from. But I had a Hammond C3, and then I had a clavinet. I had a Fender Rhodes. I had the Mini Moog, and that was kind of my rig most into the late 70s, or into the mid to late 70s. And then all of a sudden, 78, 79, all the analog stuff became passé. And I don't think I played. And then they have all the, the DX7s and all the other stuff. Oh, and I had one more thing too. If you can see behind me, there's an an Oberheim. That's half of my modular 8 voice.
Oh, I'm gonna have to come visit you there.
You have to come and not. Yeah, go ahead.
Not to go too far synthesizer realm, but Tom Oberheim is also a friend. Shout out to Tom. I had a 4 voice. A friend of mine, Barry Gould, said he was moving to a smaller place. He said, whatever you can fit in your car, you can have. I got a Moog Musonics Mini Moog, and also a 4 voice. Wow. They'd been packed in their anvil cases for 10 years. The Moog's case was okay, but the Oberheim case, the foam in it, did that brick thing that just dries up and becomes a big mess. Thankfully, that was on the Oberheim, because the Oberheim is kind of built into its own case, but it never quite worked right. Drew Newman tried to help me. Peter Miller and CAE Sound worked on it, and then I got together with Tom, and Tom checked it out, and he said, no, it's not right. So somebody made me an offer and that I couldn't refuse. So it didn't work out, but I want to hear yours.
All those analog synthesizers are great. Yeah. And I still have over in here, you can't see it. I have a Prophet 10, and I also have an ARP Quadra. So I have an ARP, vintage, Moog, ARP, Oberheim, and Prophet. But let's go back to Hammond, because we talked about Jimmy Smith. And this is from the Hammond USA Hammond Hall of Fame, and the undisputed king of jazz organ. I played a clip of Jimmy Smith last week, but I think it's worth playing again for somebody who may not have caught last week. And if they have, you can never get too much Jimmy Smith. So I'm going to play this clip, then you can talk about it. Here it is. Right. That's the organ grinder swing, the great Jimmy Smith.
Just amazing. The tone, the musicianship, the bass line keeping going. There are Hammond players and there are Hammond organists.
Right.
And you never see a bass player with a Hammond organist because they're playing
I know,
the bass.
exactly. I got started playing the Hammond organ. I was playing 6 nights a week at a club in St. Louis, actually the Robert E. Lee Riverboat. And it was just an organ trio, and it was me and a guitar player and a drummer. And the drummer had played with Jimmy Smith, and it was a great schooling for me. Now, you had mentioned about the left hand. For jazz organ, the predominant bass lines were done with the left hand, and then you kind of tap the roots in the right hand. I mean, with your foot. So it's a combination of foot, and I didn't know that, but this drummer told me about it, and it worked out great.
And they're the guys with the fast feet.
And what I found is that most of the jazz guys are left-hand guys with a combination of the foot. Now, the classical organists have great, they do heel toe and all this thing with dual. Barbara Dennerlein was she's got great feet. And the the jazz organists, it's a combination, generally.
Yeah.
But then the rock guys, like you mentioned, they always have a bass player.
Yeah, no. Greg Allman was a great Hammond player, but he wasn't a bass player. But the Allman Brothers Band, another band that had Hammond in it. Just a great sound. But there are some jazz players that do play the complex foot patterns. Two of the guys I lost that I'd like to mention. One is Don Lewis.
Yes, Don Lewis is great.
I got to see Don play Leo, the live electronic orchestra in San Francisco in 1980. Wow. He had an organ shell with 3 keyboards in it and 4 Oberheim SEMs, 2 ARP 2600s, Roland drum machines and effects, and he would perform live. Wonderful singer and bass player, and there's a great documentary about him that should be seen. And Don's widow, Julie Lewis, has been working on it for a long time. And my name,
Don Lewis was great. You must know everybody in the Hammond organ world.
Miss Joy DiFrancesco and his dad, Papa John.
Yes.
One that wasn't as well known as the big names was Mo Denham, who
was great. All the Hammond guys knew him very well. Yeah.
Yeah. Mo gave me some excellent stories for the Hammond book that really made it much better than it would have been without them.
This Hammond book, by the way, this Hammond book is so cool. So, first of all, what inspired you? Because prior to this, there were no real definitive books on the Hammond organ until you put it out there, brother.
Well, first I connected with Don Leslie when I was writing the Vintage Synths column. It's a speaker, not a synthesizer, so I bent the rules. But I reached out that far, and then the staff at Keyboard and Dominic Milano said, this Hammond thing is going to be sticking around and doesn't seem to be going away. Nope. So we did a Hammond organ issue, and I used to get to do things like a roundup of the companies trying to make digital replacements for the Hammond B3 and for the Leslie speaker, do that electronically. Sure. So I got to write about those things. And so I was doing the Vintage Synths column, and I got enough of them with a lot of other articles that had been in Keyboard magazine. And that's what became the Vintage Synthesizers book that you showed earlier.
Cool.
And I had to separate it out. You showed my last book that came out in 2014 called The Synthesizer.
That's this one right here,
Yeah,
right?
this one here. It has a chapter on the history of synthesizers, but this one's for anybody who wants to know anything about synthesizers. This was done for educational reasons by Oxford University Press.
Wow.
And the purpose was a textbook.
Yes.
The paper isn't as good as, or pretty as some books, but got some nice black and white pictures in it and some information. So the Hammond organ book came about because of my love for the music and the players that I had heard done. Oh, one other quick, I mentioned Deep Purple and Uriah Heep. There was a concert in St. Louis that I went to in 72 or 73. Uriah Heep opened, and then Buddy Miles played.
Ah, great.
And then Deep Purple played. And I got to tell you, it was kind of Buddy Miles, my heart. He killed the place. He brought everybody up and he had Hammond organ playing.
I wonder who his organ player was, because I don't know. I don't remember who that might be.
I was looking for that. I saw two names, but I wasn't quite sure. Let me see.
And I'm not sure who it would be either, but
yeah. I can't say, but I'll tell you, the energy in the place just went through the ceiling, and Deep Purple was impressive and all.
John Lord was an amazing musician.
Yes, and he played a little synthesizer too. Rat Bat Blue.
Yeah, once my experience from remember back in those days was Keith Emerson really turned it around, because Keith Emerson on that record, Lucky Man, which I'm not sure the year, maybe 72-ish, somewhere in there, 73 maybe.
Yeah.
When he played that synthesizer on Lucky Man, it was like, whoa. It was one of those records that changed everything. And so after that, and all the rock guys were starting to add synthesizers to their Hammond organs, you know?
Yeah, I saw Keith Emerson. I saw Emerson, Lake and Palmer in 72 at the Mississippi River Festival.
Oh, yeah, which is in Edwardsville, Illinois, where I went to school, by the way.
Yeah. And then 2 weeks later, I saw Yes. Now, ELP, wow. I think Lucky Man was the only thing I'd heard. And for Yes, I'd only heard Roundabout. And
Yes was amazing.
Keith Emerson and Rick Wakeman were two of my idols.
Sure.
Jan Hammer. I could name names, but
oh yeah. Well, here I've got this is the list of this. This is from the Hammond Organ Hall of Fame. Of course, Jimmy Smith is there. Dr. Lonnie Smith.
Loved that man. He'd always want to talk and was so nice and what a player. I mean,
what a player and a pioneer. And here's another one of my heroes. Well, of course, Dr. Felix Cavalieri from the Rascals.
Oh, beautiful. Great keyboards. Yeah.
And then there was, of course, this is, as you mentioned, Keith Emerson. He's in the Hammond Hall of Fame.
Oh.
Keith,
go ahead. I met him a few times, and he was aware that I wrote for keyboard. Actually, we had to send him when ELP was going to go back on tour in 88 or 89. Keith had to get the transcription that Jim Aiken had done of the solo so he could play it again, and we faxed it to him.
How cool is that?
So he could play it. We loved that man, and he knew I did the Vintage Synthesizers book, and I think it was.
And there's a picture of Keith in your book there.
Yes.
I don't know if people can see it very well, but and there's John Lord down there too. Oh, that's Greg Raleigh. Sorry.
But
you have so many great.
Here's another guy that changed the world.
Yeah. Oh, Booker T. Yes.
Booker T.
Yes. Yes. Beautiful, beautiful stuff.
What was? Tell me some of when you did the research for this, and you did some interviews. I know you interviewed. Well, there's another guy, Brian Auger.
Oh
too.
yeah, he didn't use Leslie. He had a straightaway sound. Didn't want the spinning sound, the whirling sound. But
oh, you know what? We have one of our listeners, one of our jammers, Steve Kritzer, who's a real expert, said Andre Lewis. He played the Hammond organ on the 1970 Buddy Miles album, We Got to Live. I remember that name now, Andre Lewis.
Yeah, I never heard a good recording of Changes like they played it that night. I had it on LP. Wow. I don't know. I haven't seen it on CD, but I wish I could find that original recording. The one they had, Jimi Hendrix's dad was there, and
wow.
He was introduced on the record, and he was also introduced at the concert I was at. But he must have been touring with. He must have been touring with them.
And there's, of course, the great Joey DeFrancesco you mentioned, and he's in your book too, and just as a young guy, because that's really when he was still a young guy.
Yeah, well, keyboard found him. I wish we'd found you. We should have connected with you. You should have been on the cover, man. We could bring it back.
There you go. I used to have, because I literally had every issue of Keyboard Magazine, and I never threw them away until about, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago. And they were all piling up. And finally I said, I've got to get rid of these. And so I threw them all away, and I wish I hadn't, tell you the truth.
I have all the issues. In fact, we got a puppy last year. My brother-in-law got a puppy. They got a couple issues from my library and tore them up, so I had to find them on eBay and buy 2 more.
Oh, but so you have and I'm sure I had every issue. I don't think I ever missed one.
I have all the issues. I may have pulled out some of the sound pages that used to play on your turntable. Some great music, Dave Stewart and Barbara Gaskin, Henry and James, beautiful cut. Oh, Billy Preston. Yeah, John
these
Lord.
Are some of the people who are, and of course Stevie Winwood. All these guys changed the world for the Hammond organ, but it also goes back to. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, Merle Saunders.
Yes, Merle Saunders. He was a Bay Area guy too, right?
Yeah, he was. He worked with Jerry Garcia, the Grateful Dead guitar player, on some music. But Merle came. He would come and check out keyboards. I think he participated in at least one of the organ shootouts that we did. But Merle came. I had a book signing for when that copy you're holding came out. We had a book signing at a Tower bookstore. Tower Records was huge, and they opened a bookstore. It was in San Mateo, California. And Merle Saunders played. Mike Eppley played. And Dale Ackerman finished off with a band that would have worked for Johnny Carson. Tyrone Porter from the Doobie Brothers played bass. I can't name everybody. They had 2 saxes, guitar, and Gabe Echeverria videotaped it. So I got all this video of the performances in a library, but in a bookstore.
I love it.
So it was great.
Must have sounded great with a Leslie speaker in there.
Yeah, and Peter Miller brought a remade Hammond and Leslie and set them up. CAE is his company. He's also in San Mateo, so he brought the organ and the Leslie. So the bands, Merle didn't need his bass player because he was the organist.
That's right.
Mike Eppley brought a band that played, and great
music. As a matter of fact, while you're here, I'm going to go demonstrate a little bit to. Let's see if I can get over here. Let me get to this. I'm going to have to bring you in. There's my little B3 sitting over there. We don't see me and we don't see you, do we? Let me see here. Oh, there. Hold on a second. I'm going to bring you into the picture here.
Should we tell him?
Yes, go ahead and tell anything you want, brother.
But the C3. Oops.
Oops, I'm sorry. Hold on a second. Let me get you into the picture here. Sorry, I had you muted there for a second. Go ahead. And what were you saying?
Oh yeah, the B3. You said earlier you had a C3, and what you're showing us there is a B3. The B3 was open underneath. The C3 had a cabinet that hid the legs, so it was appropriate for the church.
Exactly. Yes,
B3,
I have. As a matter of fact, I have a C3. I have two C3s. I have two B3s. I have. Hold on. I'm going to get your. Let me. Bear with me just a second. I've got to make some machinations here. We're going to put this over here. We're going to put this over here. We're going to bring you into the picture, Mark VAIL, right there. There you are. Well, and you can see the Leslie speaker is right next to it. There we go. So I'm going to go over here. Hold on a second. And so, first of all, to turn this on, you have to tell them how it's turned on.
Okay.
How you why all that.
Lawrence Hammond made clocks. He made electric clocks that ran on a motor that was synchronous at 60 cycles a second. And so that's what's in the Hammond organ. The only problem with that motor is you have to start it up. If the power goes, it won't start by itself. You have to throw a switch to turn the motor on to get the tone wheels spinning. There are tone wheels in there that are little kind of like a $50 size or the silver dollar size discs that spin, and they have notches in it, and there's a pickup right next to each one. And that's about as basic as I better get for.
And this is what. Can you hear that out there?
Yes.
And then there's the Leslie speaker. You can see it. Why don't you describe the Leslie speaker to everybody?
Okay, we can see a horn going around there.
Yeah, you can't see the bass speaker from that.
No, there's first for the treble part. There's a horn that goes around, and there's actually a horn on each side, but one of them's closed. You're only hearing when it goes around one side, and underneath that there's a bass speaker that's faces down into a drum that spins, and so it deflects
you
the
can't
sound
see
waves.
it in the camera.
It deflects the sound waves. So and the top and the bottom spin in opposite directions. So what that does is it throws sound out against the walls and the environment that you're in. And it's people try to do it electronically, but I still say if you can in the room and you can hear Leslie, you cannot fake that.
There's nothing like it in a room. And so here's a
Beautiful.
You're talking about the jazz thing. I'm going to demonstrate how the left hand, I don't know. So if I go.
Yeah. I could listen to you all night long.
Hey, I've got to come up there sometime. So you've been going to NAMM. Here, I've got some other cool pictures. Let me go back over here to. So that's the Hammond B3. Let me go back there. There we go.
There's one other name I wanted to throw out there is John Medeski Martin Wood, and with other arrangements. He's a great player.
And they were very creative too, and they were different kind of a.
Yeah.
Now, there were some guys in the St. Louis area too. I mean, that Southern Illinois where you and I basically grew up was a very, very creative spot back in those days. By the way, here I think this is when I might have discovered that you were. Bear with me a second here. I got to get to grab the pictures. That you were from Hillsborough when I saw this on your Facebook or something.
Yeah,
that's you in Hillsborough.
Okay. That's left to right, David Reck, in the middle, Mike Whitworth, and me. We started the first band when I think we were in 8th grade, maybe going to high school. We started a band, and I sing too. I actually took lessons. I'm a trained tenor. I can sing.
Wow.
I can sing better than I can play. I'll certainly say that. But we had a band. We called ourselves Pox. We called ourselves Pox, and also for a little bit we were Color of Today, color with a U. But I didn't have a keyboard, so it was just drums, guitar, and me singing, and it didn't work out. They kicked me out of the band, so that was okay. I got a Vox Jaguar, and I found other people to play with. But so in high school, I was playing with a band from another town, from Raymond, and the drummer had to leave. So I asked David Reck to play drums with us. So when we were seniors in high school, we were playing in a cover rock band, and me with my trusty Vox Jaguar combo organ.
Oh yeah, sure. Sure.
That was as good as it got then. I owned it twice.
I used to play, and just a little bit before you, I used to play in Hillsborough at a place called Fake Sam's Joint, and I remember we played there with REO Speedwagon. We played there with the Guild. I remember, and there was another. Well, here I've got some pictures here. Let me see if I can grab it. But Michael McDonald, too, was another local musician back in those days.
Oh, really? I love Michael McDonald.
Did you not know he was from that area? He played all around there in all those bands.
One other thing about that old band with Mike Whitworth, we got together again and played at our 25th anniversary in '98 high school reunion. And
wow.
I took a keyboard back and stayed with Mike, and we rehearsed, but we didn't get David to come until like the day before. But we played with the bass player from the band that did play that night.
Perfect.
And
where is that picture taken, by the way? Where is that?
That one there is at the Taylor Springs Center. I don't remember what the name of it was, but we had it there this year. We were at the Country Club, Hillsborough Country Club, in '98, but they messed up the club. Hey, I've got to say, I'm wearing my Hillsborough shirt.
Yes.
The Red Rooster Inn, the Red Rooster Hotel has been rebuilt, and it is a beautiful hotel. I stayed there when I went to the 50th reunion a couple years ago, and beautiful place. They have redone it. I was in it in the old days, in the 70s. It was scary then, and I hear it they had some problems, but somebody bought it, and it's got a microbrewery downstairs.
The guy who bought it is a good friend of mine, Jim Mattiota from Litchfield. I went to high school with, and he bought that place, remodeled it, but he ended up selling it then after he did the remodel.
Oh, he doesn't own it anymore.
He doesn't own it anymore, no. But he lives out here in California. But Jim Mattiota. And I played in bands all around. I played in Hillsborough so many times. That's why it's bizarre that. But I was just a couple of years older than you.
My parents kept me home. They didn't let me go. I was locked me up by 9 o'clock every night. I'm sorry I missed you. I really.
Well, and we used to play there. I used to play at the bowling alley too. I remember when, and I started doing a duo there at that bowling alley in Hillsborough. And just with organ and drums, and then that's when, and from there I kind of went off and left town and never came back. Actually, I do come back. As a matter of fact, and this is for anybody in the area. I've been back to the Wildly a few times. We've been back to Litchfield and done some fundraiser concerts, and we're going to go do another one for the St. Francis Hospital in Litchfield, Illinois. We're going to do that. I think the date is going to be November the 8th, a Saturday night, and we're going to have like a Frankie Valley alumni band, which is going to be really super cool.
Wonderful. I wish I could be there.
As one time, Mark, with Frankie Valley's band, 4 of the guys in the band were all from Litchfield or Gillespie.
Wow.
Which is wild, you know.
Great connection. Excellent.
I have so many great. I mean, to me, Litchfield is my beloved hometown, and I love that area, and I go back there all the time. And so, do you get back much? I know you went back for the reunion.
Yeah, my dad was a veterinarian, large and small animal. He had a great business, and my mom was his assistant, and they ran the business out of our house. So we had kennels that I could go out to whenever and pet puppies and kitties all day long. So when they retired, people kept coming to the house, kept bringing their animals. And so they moved to Northwest Arkansas, to Bentonville, about 95, I think. And so actually I have no living relatives left in the area that I know of.
Okay.
I have some cousins. I don't know where they are. I have in St. Louis, my mom's sister's family lives. So I have 3 cousins back there.
But not in that area anymore. Here, I'm going to show you something here. I'm going to bring you back in. I got to do a quick machination here. Mark VAIL. So this is that C3 that I bought in 1968, and I bought it used, and it's still at the church where I play every Sunday morning. I played there yesterday morning on that organ.
Oh wow, beautiful.
Yeah, and it's been and some during the pandemic, some friends of mine from the church refinished it, so it's there it is. It's and it still sounds great. I love it. Now this, by the way, I'm going to show you. This is a custom. This is a Hammond SK Pro, which I have somewhere over here, and but it's in this custom case that my nephew built.
Beautiful. Yeah.
He took an old M3, and they got it used. I mean, we got it for free. Somebody was giving away an old M3, and he custom designed, and he built that case out of it.
Excellent.
And whenever I go back to the Midwest, I use that. There it is.
Beautiful.
Isn't it cool? And
it's
then here's
good to
a picture.
Know the right people.
Yeah, and the thing too is from stage. There's one thing too about playing Hammond organ. If you just have a keyboard in front of you like this, there's something physical. There's a vibe that happens when you have the cabinet, and this helps the vibe.
Yes, I understand. Yeah.
And here's a couple other organs too. I'll show you that I've got around here. Oh, Warren Ham is one of my best friends, and he plays in Ringo's band actually.
Oh, great.
And this Hammond that I bought from him because it was his mom had owned it. It was since he was a little kid, and finally she wanted to get rid of it. She was in her 90s, and he sold it to me. But that's him here in the studio, and that's the old tone cabinet, not a Leslie there.
I was going to say that I wonder if that was a Hammond.
Yeah, so there it is. It's a beautiful cherry wood B3.
Woo! Oh, gorgeous.
There it is.
Gorgeous. Yeah. Woo. Yeah. That guy knows what he's doing.
Well, I love Hammond organ. There's nothing like playing Hammond organ. One of the things I like to say is that, I get a chance to wear a lot of musical hats. I get to conduct, I get to write, arrange, and play all the keyboards and be a band leader and all that. There's nothing. The best thing I do, the most fun thing I do, is playing Hammond organ. There's nothing like it.
I gave Billy Joel a copy of the book. I gave Billy Joel a copy of the book, and I didn't get to see him thumb through it, but he reportedly has played the Hammond organ, and once he starts playing, he can't leave it. So
Yes, exactly.
funny
And
he
his
never played
music
it on his-
director, David
No.
Rosenthal, is a good friend.
Yes,
And he's
friend
a
of mine,
great
too.
Hammond organ player, too.
Yes, yeah. Thank you for mentioning David. Yeah, great
Well,
guy.
listen, my friend, thank you so much for spending time with me on Jam and Java. We could probably go on for a couple more hours, and I took you
Yeah,
longer
at
than I
least.
thought we would.
Well, I hope I didn't bore anybody.
No, you are the man. You are the author of the definitive book on Hammond organ. So it's an honor to have you here with us.
Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. It's great talking to you. And I'm going to see you at NAMM in January.
I plan on it. Yep, no question.
Excellent.
I'm going to segue to a video, and this is this is at this Hammond Organ Summit, and we had over 20 or 25 Hammond organ artists. This was a tribute to Greg Gronowski. And I wish I had I wonder if I have that picture.
Chuck.
I have. Yeah,
Chuck
there's
Lavelle.
another ham. I'm trying to grab that picture, but I don't. Oh, here. Is this it? No, I can't. Here we
Chuck
go.
Lavelle's
No,
great piano player.
and plays organ too.
Yeah.
There it is. There's the picture.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Wow.
So this was
too.
And this was a tribute to Greg Gronowski, and we had all these Hammond organists play. We had 4 and 5 at a time, and I'm going to segue to where'd you go here? Are you still there? Let me see here.
I'm here. Oh, what a collection of great people! Yeah.
So that was, and I'm going to segue to that to a performance that we did, and a tribute to actually a former bandmate with us with Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons, Jerry Corbetta. Do you know that name?
No, I don't.
Okay, Jerry Corbetta was the organist, the singer, and the songwriter for a band called Sugarloaf, who had the hit record Green Eyed
Love
Lady.
Sugarloaf. I didn't know his name. Love Sugarloaf.
And so we did a tribute to him, and here it is. So again, thank you so much, everybody. Put your hands together. Mark Vail.
Thank you, Robbie. Great talking with you, man. Appreciate it.
Talking to you. And
Go
here it is,
Hillsboro.
Green Eyed Lady.
Dressed in love, she lived her life.
a night that was. That was at the Arcada Theater. Here are just some pictures from the NAMM show with, by the great Frankie Valli and Dr. Lonnie. By the way, one of the cool things that people don't really know, Frankie Valli used to sit in with Jimmy Smith back in New Jersey, back in the day before either of them became famous. And he was playing with the Don Gardner Quartet. There's Dr. Lonnie and I. He used to come and hang out. My buddy Felix, one of my big heroes. Another one of my big heroes, Mark Stein from Vanilla Fudge, one of the legendaries, one of my biggest heroes of all time. Ronnie Foster, Joey DeFrancesco, and that is my buddy Chris Montez, of course, in there. 1962 hit record. I'm trying to get some of his super talent rub off a little bit. That's a great record that we did with Frankie Valli and Joey DeFrancesco, which is a great record. There we are in the studio.
Oh,
there's another studio pic. There's Michael McDonald sitting here in my studio, actually. He's playing with a little band now called the Doobie Brothers, playing Hammond organ. Let's go to the NAMM show. Mark had mentioned the NAMM show, and this is, well, actually, first I'm going to do this. Let me go here. As most of you know, we have a song called What Me Worry that I collaborated with Brian Charette and Jim Albertson, and this is just a little bit of the promo, because I'm not going to play the whole song, but it's out there on Robbie's Records on Spotify and all that stuff. And we're over 1.6 million views on YouTube. But here's the clip just from that. Hammond organ, the sound, the soul, the one. Now I'm going to play that same song. We had a chance to play it at NAMM show this year when all three of us were demonstrating, and we all we played that song. I was playing the Hammond XK5, and those guys were playing the new M Solo. I wonder if I have it. Well, I'm not going to go grab it, but it's 8-pound Hammond organ. But check this out. This is us live here back in January at the NAMM show. And this is us doing that same song. Check this out. 1, 2, 3, go. All right. What Me Worry. All right, I've got one more song here to play, and I think I'm going to go out with this is a song that from Rob from the Jam for Jesus in 2018, and this is a little clip. Sarah Nimitz doing her thing with the song "People Get Ready." There's a train a coming. Check it out.
Welcome to our rehearsal, by the way.
Everything's gonna be alright. Oh, yeah. Everything's gonna be alright. If you're going through a time that's not so alright, then everything's gonna be alright. It might not be today, and it might not be tomorrow, or the day after that, or the day after that. But someday, everything's gonna be alright. Now people get ready, there's a train coming. You don't need no baggage, you just get on board. All you need is faith to hear the beat so humming. You don't need no ticket, you just thank the Lord. People get ready, there's a train coming. I'm ready, I don't need no ticket, I'll just get on board. And all you need is faith. And a little bit of piano doesn't hurt you. I think God likes piano. You don't need no ticket. I said you don't need no
All right. People, get ready. There's a train coming. You don't need no ticket. Just get on board and don't worry about nothing because God's got it all covered. So God's big blessing to each and every one of you. Thank you so much for spending time with me tonight as we kind of we did a survey of Hammond organs. There's never enough time for Hammond organs. Big thanks to Mark VAIL, who is one of the real experts about all things Hammond organ. And like I said, he has this book, Hammond Organ, Beauty in the Bee. And it's so cool. So, again, God's big blessings. I'll see you all next Monday. Till then, all right, rock and roll. Take it away.
Precious Lord, take my hand, lead me on, help me stand. I am tired, I am weak, I am worn. Through the storm, through the night, lead me on to thy light. Take my hand, precious Lord, lead me home. When my way grows drear, precious Lord, linger near. When my life is almost gone, hear my cry, hear my call, hold my hand, lest I fall. Take my hand, precious Lord, lead me home. Precious Lord, take my hand, lead me on, let me stand. I get so tired, I get weak, I get so worn. Through the storm, through the night, lead me on to thy light. Take my hand, precious Lord, lead me home. Take my hand, precious Lord.